Thanks to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. In today's video, I'm travelling to North Wales to show you a very much underrated golf course that could well be one of the very best in Wales. It also has one of the best beaches in Wales, which is where we'll be starting today's episode of Off the Beaten Track. This is Blackrock Sands in Porthmadog, and just over those dunes is Porthmadog Golf Club, which is where I'll be heading very shortly. So we come out pre-round and got a bit of drone footage that's being shared with you now, and you can see how this area that I'm on now looks so spectacular. So for me, the course is split very much into two parts, and there's a road that divides it, and the 11 or 12 holes that are on this side, which is very much the back nine predominantly, you actually start on holes 1 and 2 on this side as well, are the real interest of it. Plays really linksy, really quirky. No flat lie, looks incredible in the right light, which unfortunately we don't have today. But all around this kind of cove area, which is, I'm stood on the 12th tee, there's a little par 3 which is 11, and it's an incredible stretch. This is one of the quirkiest holes you'll play. Tee right across the beach, green rather, right across the beach. We're stood on the teeing area, although we'll be a little bit forward on these winter tees a little bit later on. And then you play a way up high, a par 3, which again we'll show you when the round commences, but it's a real highlight of the round. So whenever you play, if things aren't going too well on the front nine, hang on in there, because you've got some incredible views waiting for you on the back. Now, as well as having a look around Porthmadog Golf Club, I'm also going to tell you what's in my bag for 2025, why I only carry, would you believe, 7 clubs, and why I feel it actually makes me a better golfer. Now, not only will I share with you what those 7 clubs are, I'll also explain to you why I feel by only carrying 7 clubs, it has actually made me a better golfer, and I reckon it would you also. So this is going to be very much a hybrid video. We're going to take a look at the course, and I'll speak to you more about that perhaps on the back 9, and on this front 9 we'll talk about these 7 clubs. These 7 clubs are my favourite 7 clubs, and that's important because A, they give me confidence, and B, they give me plenty of enjoyment, both in equal measure, and that is also hugely important. You see, the thing is, I'm not a massive fan of putting 14 clubs in my bag just because the rules of golf permit me to, and that's again a huge mistake in many bags set up, in my opinion. And it's always been that stereotypical setup, hasn't it? Driver, 3-wood, 5-wood, 4-iron through to pitching wedge. I mean, it's like really time to drop that. 1, I never use my 4-iron, I never use a 5-iron. Just not that good with either of those. 3-wood, I cannot stand. Why would I carry them in the bag? I fill my bag full of clubs that give me confidence. And straight away, that only needs to be 7. 7 clubs I'm comfortable with is a much better situation than 14, where half a dozen of them I'm not too keen on. Now, first of all, I'm going to say I carry 7 clubs because, well, that's about as heavy a weight as I'm prepared to lug around. That's one of the reasons, but it's not the important one. The 7 clubs that I carry are as follows. Driver, that can either be driver or mini driver. I then carry a 22-degree hybrid. I've got a 6-iron, an 8-iron, a pitching wedge, a 54-degree wedge, and a putter. All essential. I can get around this course no problem with all of those clubs, and I'm never caught short for one main reason. Right, before we get back out on the fairways, I just want to say a quick thank you, and that is to the sponsor of today's video, which is AG1. Not only for sponsoring the video, but also for looking after my own personal health over the last 12 months, because that's how long I've been sort of drinking this. You'll have seen it on a number of videos that we've filmed so far. And I've just seen a lot of positive impact that it's had on my my fatigue, my energy levels, better focus, and just all round it's had a positive impact, I would also say, on the golf course as well. So all very much positive stuff from AG1, and it's dead simple to put together. I'm going to make a drink now which I'll take before I go out onto the fairways. I do this every single day, and there's so much positive reasons for doing so. So AG1 is a comprehensive and convenient supplement with over 70 high quality ingredients in one simple scoop that supports physical and mental health. The idea that I'm taking on board a whole load of vitamins and nutrients every day also has a positive impact mentally, knowing that I'm putting a lot of good things in my body without making big changes to my daily diet or lifestyle. And it couldn't be any simpler to make each morning. One scoop of AG1 added to 250 ml of water. If you fancy giving this a go, subscribe now and get a free bottle of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first subscription. Go to drinkag1.com/average golfer or scan the QR code to get started. Once again, thanks to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. So the 6th hole at Porthmadog, real feature hole on the front nine, plays is very much an island green, and interestingly enough it was just 118 yards from the tee. Now it's a full-on pitching wedge, or the shot that you're watching me play right now was what I would call a half of an 8-iron, and there's a controlled swing. It means that I can play my 8-iron from 150 down to 120 or 118 yards in this case, and it works for me. And what that means is I'm able to control the club head. In doing so, I'm able to control my tempo, swing, rhythm in doing so, and I think that's a real key, important message as to why these 7 clubs can make you a better golfer. So coming towards the end of the front nine, this is 8. I've got an interesting little par 3 that comes next from an elevated position we can have a look at. But I did want to say that how dry this 9 has been, because historically, and I must admit I've been here for a number of years, maybe a little bit of an issue on this side with drainage, but they seem to have put a heck of a lot in since I was last here, and it's so dry underfoot. Greens are still really firm and rolling true, and fairly quick as well for the time of year. So hats off to the green staff. It's in great condition. And as a matter of reference, I know everybody always asks me this, I paid £25 green fee today, so that gives you an idea on where it sits. So really good value piece of golf in the middle of winter. Back to where it all started. Just played that par 3, which was 11. We'll get onto the 12th tee box in a minute. But I think it's what I like to call a smell the roses moment, where it's time to just chill for a little while. It's interesting now, it doesn't look quite as pretty actually with the water out, tide out that is. It's the Irish Sea just over the well, over the brow, and the beach is lovely though. All around here, white sandy beaches. The water is nice as well. A bit cold for a dip today though. And this is this hole where the green sits on the top of the cliff face. Not the biggest of cliff faces. I don't know what to hit. I'm going to play a 6-iron, and it will of course be half a 6-iron, and then hopefully we just leave a wedge up the hill. That was nice enough. Is that the right distance? That's perfect. And we've got a decent angle in to that pin. Oh, what a tee position. Very much playing blind second shot, and blind in 2 ways. I'm not too sure on the yardage. We're going to hit a full 54, and then it's a case of let's see what lies over the ridge. I think that could be quite good, you know. It's on the line I wanted, and feels like the right distance. In memory of members who have passed. Not a bad position if they're spending some time up here now, because another smell the roses moment. They were on top of the world up here. Par 3, which we're going to play from a shorter tee, forward tee rather. And I'll tell you, I've stood up here and it's been blowing an absolute hoolie, 40-50 mile an hour winds, and you're playing driver from where we're about to play from. It's a bit different today, but the views are spectacular. If we were able to sort of see further that way, there's a bit of low cloud, then all the mountains are, well, it's a gorgeous place. It really is. And that's a 360 panoramic. So yeah, those members who have passed, let's hope they're spending a bit of time up here every now and then. This is the 15th green. It's long and narrow and bordered by two, they're not dunes, banks, let's say. Really shapes the hole when you're coming in, if you look back that way. And like I said earlier on about the sort of light, when the light is shining across those mounds, they're rolling fairways, it looks incredible. And then at the back of this green you get that view again. Not that you'd want to be here and hit your ball this far through, but we'll go and have a look. But what I like about golf courses, what I realise, is that they've just got to have some character for me, and that's why I'm always drawn to links land, because it's just that ruggedness and quirkiness, I suppose, that you just don't get in the sort of pristine, well manicured parklands. And like I said, it's just the character that these places really kind of comes through. I don't know whether you can make your way up here, but it's just view after view, isn't it? It's beautiful. And if you have just a quick spin back round, you'll see just how long and narrow this green is. And with that flag at the front, that'll be quite a tough one to get to. We'll see how we fare. So the question I've not answered yet is, why does this help me become a better golfer? Well, the shot I've just played from this tee is what I think is really key and important to becoming a better golfer, and that's the ability to control the club head, control the ball flight, and control the tempo of your swing. And the ability to hit a half shot, a three-quarter shot and a full shot with each of the clubs that you've got in the bag gives you so many more options. And I can't always do it. I'm not fantastic at executing a low shot that I've just, or a punch shot that I've just hit into this flag, but when it comes off, to me it's a huge part of the game that makes it really, I don't get any more pleasure than that. I don't like sort of target golf and just firing drive and wedge into greens. That's boring golf. Get out on the links and you know, try and shape a shot a little bit in days of old. And like I said, being able to hit, I've got a 6-iron that can go 180 all out, and it can go back down to 150. I've got the 8-iron goes 150 down to 120, and I've got a wedge that goes 120 to 75 yards. Covers all those distances. And today I've been out and not once have I reached for my club and thought I haven't got a club to cover the distance that I'm looking for. And I've got one final thing to say on that matter. Ask yourself this: how many times do you hit a better shot when you're trying to lay up short of a hazard than when a green gets in the way? And what I mean by that is this: when you're laying up short of a hazard, I'll bet you your tempo is nice and smooth, nice and controlled. You're not trying to overhit the ball. It's a layup shot. That same shot covering the same distance, when you see a flag in front of you, all of a sudden the tempo goes, it all becomes erratic, you lose control of the club head, and quite often, more than not, and I've seen it on a number of occasions, things go awry. So having control of that club head is massive. Anyway, enough of that. I said it was a hybrid video. How good has Porthmadog been? What I cannot believe is just this idea that there's been no breeze. You would normally be literally blown off your feet here. Just have a pan round there again, and I'll go and see if I can make the birdie, because that's my favourite shot of the day I've just played. Right, one thing before we go, because we're nearly at the end, is can I ask you to think about signing up for a newsletter we've introduced? And loads of you had. I can't believe the response we've had to it. So basically, if you click the link in the description or go to theaveragegolfer.co.uk, there's an easy pop-up that'll give you the option to sign up for a newsletter. Keeps you informed, everything average golfer and more. And we're trying to build a bit more of a community thing going again. And what I'm hoping in the longer term is that the website will also provide you with a bit of a course guide if you want to plan a trip, especially for maybe those people who are coming from the US. Then there's we will have over 100 courses that will feature that I filmed at and it'll give you a load of information that you need to try and book and organise a trip. But in the short term, if you can sign up for the newsletter, greatly appreciated. I've got a putt for birdie, so hang on in there. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but because that gives me an excuse to miss. Turn a tad. Oh yeah, hello. I've had a few birdies today, and that's with only 7 clubs in the bag. I'll overcomplicate things Saturday and put 14 in. Could go in, that'd be a nice finish of the video. Now I know 7 clubs is it's not for everybody, and it's not a rule book. You can do what the heck you want, and ideally I'd prefer a 58 than a 54 in there, but you make do with what you've got. And my advice, if there is any, from this video, the takeaways are 2 things. 1, try a reduced number of clubs in your bag and get familiar with just a few of them. Builds confidence and enjoyment, like I said. And then the second thing is get down to Porthmadog if you're anywhere close and play it, because for 25 quid that is an absolute bargain. My white shoes are pristine, I've got no mud on me, and for this time of year in the middle of Wales, that's pretty incredible. Right, I'm off. I'll see you next week. Can I have that?